I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Dominic Bruning. I'm the Director of Strategic Alliances at HID. One of the big questions I get asked is, what do you do? And typically, this is for my children or for my parents. And this is normally the one word I come up with: digitalization. Fancy word, but it's basically taking that card, that physical card, and putting it into digital format. And normally this is a transformation journey. So the journey takes quite a while. And that's where great partners like Smart Spaces help clients all over the world, especially in London, to do that digitalization journey. What is digitalization? So here's an interesting definition from the Gartner Group. So I'll read it out because there's some good keywords here. Digitalization, the use of digital technologies to change business models, provide new revenue streams, and value-producing opportunities. And I think that would sum up exactly what Smart Spaces do. I mean, they're changing a business model, going from a physical product, which is CapEx-driven, to a SaaS platform, which is typically a subscription business model. So I think digitalization is really the intersection between tech transformation, the digitalization part of it, and the business model. And both have their challenges in equal amounts. Okay, little pop quiz for you, if you're interested in that kind of thing. Here we have the Fortune 500 list. Lots of big logos and names on here. A lot of them household names. However, you know that this is not a static list. Obviously, it's changing every year. So the point about this is that digitalization creates new opportunities for new companies. We all probably took an Uber in the last couple of days or so. We all know that Uber is a company that was born in digital and created and disrupted an industry. So the point about digitalization is it disrupts industries. It challenges the status quo and the incumbents. And that's really what this pop quiz is all about. So what percentage of the Fortune 500 firms since the year 2000, so that's 25 years ago, you might think that's a long time, but obviously some of these companies have been on here since the 1800s. What percentage are now no longer on that list? Anyone want to give a little go? There's no prize. 50%. Any higher or lower? 75. The price is right. No. Guy, any? 80. Oh, okay. So we've kind of like got an anchoring here from 50 and going upwards. If the first number was like 3%, people would be in the 20s, 25 or so. 52%. So 52% of the Fortune 500 companies are no longer on that list. And that is because of digitalization. So digitalization is creating new companies like Google, Facebook or Meta, all the other companies that are born in the digital world. So what is this all about? What is it that I do? Or what is it that we at HID do? I'll play a little video clip here. I mean, Smart Spaces, you could probably have a little break now, but...
Getting up and running with Employee Badge and Apple Wallet is easy. To start, employees log into their company's mobile app using single sign-on and multi-factor authentication. Once logged in, they can add their Employee Badge to Apple Wallet by tapping Add. If they have an Apple Watch, the badge will automatically be added. Now they're ready to access their workplace by simply holding their iPhone or Apple Watch to the HID reader, with no need to unlock their device or open any apps.
Unfortunately, I didn't bring a Smart Spaces video along, but maybe next year. So, how is the mobile market? What does the landscape look like, and what are the enabling drivers that are moving this market forward? So on the left-hand side of this slide, maybe I should stand up here and try not to fall off. We see the Omdia data. So Omdia is a market research firm that covers the security industry. Every year they publish a report that says, who are the players, who are the actors, which verticals are adopting what technology, what market share of all the companies got. So we see on the left-hand side here, we see the physical credential market. It's the one that's been around for a long time, and it's still the biggest portion of the credentials that are being issued today. So it's a very big market, but it's growing at a very slow rate. The latest report actually that came out just a week or so ago actually puts this number down to 0%. So it's a flat market. So what you're going to see in the physical credential space is that prices will go up. I mean, it's a captive market. It's flat growth. So companies that issue plastic are going to try and monetize that. That's going to do two things. It's going to make people say, this is getting more and more expensive every year. Maybe now we should start looking at that digital transformation journey and start calling smart spaces and other companies. You can see the mobile credentials market is growing at a fast pace. Obviously, that growth is going to slow down from maybe 30% to double-digit growth of 15%. But it's still in a high growth phase. This market is predicted to be around, I think, around $200 million worth by 2028. Okay, now I haven't got my numbers right. 2028. Right. So in 3 years. And HID has around about 10% market share of that. So we want to continue to grow our market share and maintain our market leadership position. The other interesting driver is the technology. We call them technology giants because that's really what they are. They are giants dwarfing our industry. Apple and Google. So once they got into the game with the wallet, they really accelerated this interest. So a lot of people are familiar with putting stuff in their wallet. I mean, I have tons of cards in my wallet. So why wouldn't I want my door entry pass in there? Create a seamless experience for people. There's a lot of benefits for that, which I'll touch on. And obviously the younger kids, right, coming into the universities, they're born in the mobile world. They don't want to carry around plastic cards. Just an interesting anecdote. My stepdaughter, she's in school in Sweden. And recently there's been a few school challenges like stabbings and some shootings. Been quite high profile in Sweden. So now they've moved to a physical card. But do they carry that card around with them all day long? No, it's a brand new experience for them. They've never had to do that before. So they're leaving them at home. They're not putting them in their school bags. They're not wearing them. They just tap and then put them back in their pockets. And, they're back on their mobile. So really, it's a really big shift for them to actually go to a physical card. Whereas I think the older generation, it's a big shift going away from physical cards. Use cases. We talk about multiple use cases here, and that's the beauty of once you've got one badge, and if you've done a good integration job into a building, again, that's where smart spaces come in, then you can access so many different types of services. Not only your front door, but your elevators, your speed gates, your secure printing, your basement locker, your EV charger, all these kind of services that are becoming more and more important for getting good talent into your companies is important. So 6 main digital advantages. Practicality, just on a high level. Few items to carry. Wallet experience and wearables. So I have my watch. In the future, maybe a wearable is something else. Maybe we'll be having the glasses. Right, smart glasses might be the way that I gain entry into the building in a few years' time. I actually predict that, today we'd spend hours typing on a keyboard. Why? Well, in the future, maybe I will be just talking to my glasses and working. I don't want to type things. I'll be just talking to them, and that will be it. Efficiency, the online experience, the multi-location access. I mean, getting from one building to another, you've got different access control systems, you need different badges, or you can't get into that building because you're not entered into that access control system. The affordability. So take the pricing here with a little bit of pinch of salt, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it depends what kind of experience you're buying, whether you're buying the app experience, the wallet experience, the smart spaces experience. But typically, it's pretty cost efficient, you know, $7-8 per user per year. And it's a subscription business model. And that's probably one of the challenges, is that you're going from a CapEx business model to a subscription business model. So the operating challenges are more of a headache than the actual cost itself. Because actually you lose cards every year. You produce cards that never come back. You mail cards, you print cards. These are all operating costs that go away. Of course, you have new costs, and it's in a recurring, never-ending manner. But the ability to issue cards over the air for a limited period of time and revoke them remotely, it's much easier. It's much more control. Sustainability. Everyone's talking about sustainability. Now, of course, ESG goals, CO2 reduction, it's going to be quite dramatic. To do a total cost of ownership and a return on investment business case obviously will depend on each particular client and each dependent customer, because you need to figure out how many cards every year, how much they're spending, what's their printing costs, what's their mailing costs, you know, and how is that affecting their objectives in terms of ESG goals. Reliability. Vulnerabilities to remote updates. Simple decommissioning. The NFC and Bluetooth experience. Now, Bluetooth experience is not built for access control, so it's maybe less reliable than the NFC experience. But you've got the flexibility there, and you've got the different handsets that can work. And security. I mean, I like the one where, you know, I always lose my plastic card. I leave it at home, and I get to the office and I have to print a new one. And I used to work for a company that made me pay for that. So I used to do it maybe 5 times a year, and I had to pay for that, and it came out of my paycheck. Got super annoyed with myself. But I don't lose my phone. I mean, as soon as you leave the house, you've got your phone in your bag or in your pocket. If you go to a pub after work, you're going to know within a few minutes if you've left your phone in the pub. But you're not going to check your pass if you dropped it on the floor until Monday morning when you can't find it. So it's a security issue, losing badges. There's many use cases. I think I touched on this. This is just a reiteration of the same thing. It's still a challenge, right? It's still a challenge for people to do this transition. And as I spoke earlier, the digital transformation or the digitalization journey can be planned out. And you've got different building blocks here. So we have our management portal. I'm just going to put this up. So this is how building blocks of a mobile access solution is working. So obviously you've got different ways that you can go out to the market, and obviously going through the app, going through the wallet. At the end of the day, there's a lot of API, SDK integration that can be done, but there's many flavors of what you can do. So talking out there to the market, you know, you can partner with us, or you can partner with our partners who have actually done this and normalized a lot of the building integrations. The other thing is that the journey from plastic can be multi-stepped here over many years. And as digitalization journey goes into a building, we're going to start to see more and more integrations higher up the food chain. So at the bottom, you've got a plastic card with typically a $2 cost, all the way up to a physical identity access management solution, or $50. And maybe in the future, we'll have an even higher level up of verification. I personally see a future potentially where we don't issue credentials anymore. We have a European ID, and that's your verifiable identity. So this market is going to change dramatically over the next few years. And today, systems are proprietary. We're moving more to an open, standards-driven market. And that's great for the users, but also for companies that adopt this transformation journey. Today, there's a lot of barriers to entry. Reader compatibility, access control systems that are independent silos from sites, locations, countries that need to be integrated. So that creates a space for smart spaces, but ultimately, it's going to get easier and easier over the years. So ultimately, my final thought here is, where physical and digital converge, this is where the future begins. This is what makes smart spaces get out of bed every morning, talk to clients to help them do that transition. Thank you very much for listening, and I'm here all day if anyone wants to talk to me. If not, I'll have a coffee. Thank you.